Today on Locked On MLB, I'm going to do something I've never done before, and chances are you haven't either. I'm going to see a Major League Baseball game in Sacramento at Sutter Health Park, home of the Sacramento Athletics.
You are Locked On MLB, your daily MLB podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, baseball fans, and welcome to Locked On MLB, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. This is the daily podcast. We talk about all of Major League Baseball. I'm your host, Paul Francis Sullivan. Please call me Sully. Follow us on Locked On MLB Pods on Twitter or whatever they're calling it these days. And on Instagram, I'm your pal Sully. I'm at Sully Baseball Podcast on Instagram, and leave your messages right here on YouTube. Now, I'm recording this a little bit out of order, but I will tell you about the trivia question. I'm sure somebody got it. The question was Sacramento related. What five-time All-Star and eventual Manager of the Year was an alumni of Sacramento City College? I'm guessing somebody got it. It's Larry Bowa. Larry Bowa, who was a Manager of the Year with the San Diego Padres, and later managed the Phillies and was a perennial All-Star with the Phillies when they won their first title. So, as the obnoxious music is probably cueing you in, that I am outside of a Major League Baseball game. We're at Sutter Health Park. I was here last year to see a game of the Sacramento River Cats. And for reasons I still don't understand, the Sacramento River Cats are still calling this stadium their home. That's right. This is going to be the home of minor league and Major League Baseball at the same time. It makes zero sense. As long as the A's are here, the River Cats should play in one of the many cities in California that can support a minor league baseball team. There are lots of teams that were folded when the California League was contracted. There are places you can play. And it's kind of a Bush League move that they have to share the stadium with a minor league team. But here we are. This is a self-inflicted wound. I've said this many, many times, and I mean it as much today as I did when I first talked about all last year. The A's don't have to be playing here. When I was driving up here to Sacramento, I passed the Oakland Coliseum. The Oakland Coliseum today is empty, and all the signage is taken down. The Oakland Coliseum was never cute and cuddly and fuzzy. It never had that old-time Ebbets Field feel that some of these newer ballparks try to have. But it always had banners. It always had signage. It always had something pointing out the history of the A's and Oakland and this, that, and the other thing. And today, it just looked gray, lifeless. Looked like something that would have been built from the brutalist. But I passed that stadium on the way here to Sutter Health Ballpark. Now, look, I don't know what to make about a major league team in a minor league stadium for reasons of their own doing. They're only here because of some fine print involving John Fisher having to move out of the Oakland Coliseum at a certain amount of time and revenue sharing and everything like that. It all goes back to how much money Bud Selig's former frat buddy, John Fisher, can make, which is why they're here. Now, this is being recorded in early April. And as of this recording, shovels are not in the ground in Las Vegas. Oh, there was something that was reported that the zoning had been approved. Great! Great, the zoning's been approved. And they keep kicking the start date. It was supposed to be in early 2025. Well, we're already in April, and we're not sure where the money is or anything like that. So they're going to be here for a while. They're going to be in this ballpark for a bit. I mean, the best case scenario is 3 years. If everything goes right, they're going to play the 2025, 2026, and 2027 season here. When has everything gone right with the Oakland A's in this whole situation? The answer is never, in case you were looking up on Google when everything has gone right. And I'm still in I'll believe it when I see it mode when it comes to a stadium being built in Las Vegas. I will believe it when I start to see it being built. And there is a very real possibility that the Fisher family may throw their hands up in the air, and the Vivics and everyone here may try to make it work here. Now, obviously, the first week here, in terms of how it turned out for the A's, was kind of disastrous. They got their asses handed to them in 3 straight games. Okay, 1 game was competitive, but 2 of the 3 games, including the first game played here, was a disaster. The Cubs trounced them. And last night, San Diego beat Sacramento, and that's what we're going to call them, folks. There you go. They beat Sacramento, and they still have yet to win a game here. And the crowds have not been overwhelming. But I don't want to be one of those people who is just saying negative things, especially when I've not experienced it. So that's one of the reasons why I have decided to come here to see an A's game. I came up from Southern California so I can be one of the people who have been to a Sacramento A's game. I want to see what the vibe is like. I want to see if there's intensity. On TV, it didn't feel that way. I saw empty seats. I saw a lot of Cub jerseys in the stands for the Cub games. I saw a lot of brown and gold jerseys yesterday for the Padres. And I'm not going to lie to you, I walked through the parking lot here, and I saw a lot more Padre fans than I did see A's fans. But I'm not going to be someone who talks about something I haven't experienced. Maybe it's a cool experience. Maybe the whole notion of seeing a game, a Major League Baseball game in a minor league park, is something that could be a fun new experience. And maybe fans are cold to show up initially because of, the Sacramento not being included in the name. They know it's temporary. Don't get too hooked on that. But maybe there'll be some momentum if people start telling others, hey, it's fun to go to the game here. And I could be taken by it. And the one thing I'm not going to say anything badly about are Sacramento sports fans. I've seen them support the Kings, especially when it looked like the Kings were going to move to Seattle, and it looked like Seattle was like an absolutely perfect place to put a basketball game, and then all of a sudden they supported and kept them here. I think that you could have a team work here. I've been pretty clear about that, even when I was hosting Locked On A's last summer. But a game is about to start. They're playing the national anthem. Actually, I should probably do that. Show a little respect for our country. All right. When we come back, I am going to be inside a Sacramento A's game for the first time in my life. I didn't even know that was on my bucket list, but here we are. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades, Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400 top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you always talk to a real person. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage, and now's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. All right, so I'm in the ballpark, and people are filing in. It's not a big surprise to me. I've been to games here. I've been to the River Cat games, but it's interesting that there's a lot of A's signage up here, and I poked my head into the A's souvenir clubhouse there, and I wonder if during River Cat games, if they clear out all of the A's stuff and put River Cat stuff in there. I don't know the answer to that, and chances are you don't either. we'll see how that goes. But either way, I'm going to find my seat, and we're going to get a sense of the feeling here of Sutter Health Park in this game with the Sacramento A's and the San Diego Padres. Hey, look what we got here. A fellow Sacramento A's shirt here. Where did you get yours?
Etsy, baby.
Yeah, Etsy is the only place.
Hey, you know
That's right. And do you know why? Do you know why there says Sacramento A's? They're the A's and they play in Sacramento.
Hey!
There's another guy with the shirt too. So
Oh, yeah.
Good. Yeah. Stomper, what do you think about Sacramento so far? Sacramento gets the Stomper seal of approval. I've got good seats. I'm behind home plate, and it's a great view I have of Sutter Health Park. Here's the problem. I went to my seat, and it's up there, and there's a couple people sitting around, and I looked that there's a row of seats closer to home plate that was basically empty. So I moved down to that seat. That's a problem. We'll get into that later. I'm going to watch the game. All right, in case you're keeping score at home, and why would you? This game is already over when you're seeing this. The A's are down 3 runs before they've come to bat. So the idea of the A's showing the people here of Sacramento really good Major League Baseball, file this under yikes. It's not a good start. But we'll see what happens. But I will tell you, I mean, it's early. There are a lot of empty seats here. There's a lot of empty seats here. But we're going to have fun. We're going to have fun.
You guys can sing along with me. We can sing together. Hey, hey. What? There you go. Let me hear you, A's fans. Let's go, A's. Come on.
Did you notice it sounded like root for the Padres? By the way, this could become a really cool tradition if the A's stay here. I had this experience when I went to the River Cats game, but they have the big green hill and people just setting up lawn chairs and watching it like it's a college baseball game. And the view is to right field. There's some trees that are here because it's so hot here in the summertime. You remember that when I was here last year, that you need the shade. But it's a great view, and you know, you got to give this experience credit when credit is due. You've got great places to set up for picnics. People have picnic blankets out here, lawn chairs out here. Where else do you have? Okay, maybe in San Diego you have this experience in straightaway center field, but this could be a really great new tradition in baseball if the A's stay here or if they expand Sutter Health Park to sit a couple more, you know, about 20,000 more people. But this is a fun thing, and you're seeing a lot of people here setting up. It's a nice cool night here in Sacramento, and you're seeing a lot of people setting up picnics and lawn chairs, and it has a nice fun feeling, kind of like you'd see at Sunken Diamond at Stanford. So hey, there are good things going on here tonight. This could be a fun thing, especially if you have a lot of the opposing team's fans show up. What's up, Stomps? Party like it's 89. I know him well enough to call him Stomps. Here's a question I have to ask. I got myself a souvenir cup, and I'm sure everyone in my family is thrilled that I'm now up to 17,000 souvenir cups I have. But look what they say right there. It says Sacramento. It says Sacramento in the cup with a cool script and a great logo of the Tower Bridge, which is kind of right behind me, right there in the background. You see that? There you go. So if they can have it on the cup, Why can't they have it on the uniform and on the name? Sacramento, right there. Look at that. The A's won a game. The A's actually won a game in Sacramento. Look at that. The A's won the game. The A's were down 3-0 before they even came to bat. And they had the Padres had a good pitcher of them out, and Dylan Cease. And Dylan Cease had his butt kicked. So, it was fun. And give the A's credit. They were down, they let up 4 runs in the first 2 innings and didn't let up another run for the rest of the game. So they had a CB radio score. It was 10-4. But people are filing out here at Sutter Health Park in Sacramento. And the security guards are telling us to get off the hill. Get off the grassy knoll, as it were. And went to see a Major League Baseball game in Sacramento. I have a couple of parting thoughts. But I'll tell you something. Any night at a ballpark is a good night. All right, I'm outside the park right now. The game's been over for about 15-20 minutes. I'm heading back to my car. And what are my thoughts? Well, I'll tell you, first of all, it was fun to see a game where there was a lot of offense and there was a lead change, and there wasn't a lot of scoring after the 3rd inning or after the 4th inning, but it was it was fun. And it was obviously a different experience. The last A's game I attended was the final game at the Coliseum, which was this big emotional experience. And any night, as I said before, any night you're at a baseball game is a good night. Any night where you're at the ballpark, you're watching Major League players play, that's better than almost any night you can have. So I can't discount that. Yes, it did feel like a minor league game. It was in a minor league stadium. It felt like a spring training game. It didn't have the awesome feel when you walk into a major league park. I've been to major league parks. God, I've lost count of all the parks because I've been to a couple of stadiums that have been torn down. I've been parks on coast to coast. I've been parks in Canada. I've been parks in Florida. I've been parks in Atlanta and parks in Texas, in Kansas City, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. All these places I've been to baseball games. And whether I was in a traditional ballpark like Wrigley Field or Fenway, one of the great new ballparks like Petco or Oracle Park, or a cookie cutter multi-purpose park like Three Rivers Stadium, the Vet, or Riverfront Stadium, when you walk through the tunnel and you see the massiveness of the stadium, that is an emotional feel I have every time, no matter what park I go to. And I did feel that going to Oakland. Oakland was ugly. Oakland was falling apart. Oakland was a bit of a toilet. But it was still a major league park. Now, when I walked through the gates here, of course it was fun. You're at a major league stadium, or you're at a major league game. But it didn't have a major league feel to it. And there's also something else I want to bring up. And this may sound like I'm being old man Sully here, and who knows, maybe I am old man Sully. But this didn't feel like an A's game. First of all, this felt like a Padres game. There were so many Padres fans here. I felt like I was in San Diego at one point. But it didn't have the sense of being at an A's game. I've been at A's games where there were only 6,000 or 7,000 people there. I've been there where there are tiny crowds. But that tiny crowd had a certain energy. There are no signs that are allowed here. You're not allowed to bring any signs and put signs up over the fence. And that is a huge part of A's fandom. There was all those creative signs with the names of the players and logos and turned into some sort of piece of art or parody. And then there were the drums, all the people beating the drums. and the Let's Go Oakland chant. And even if there was only 6,000 or 7,000 people there was a sense there was 6,000 or 7,000 people who loved being at an A's game. I didn't get that here. Granted, it was game number 5, but it's going to be hard to get any facsimile of that because, as I said before, the A's have shown up to Sacramento and been acting like a rude guest. They're not allowed to call themselves the Sacramento A's, despite what my shirt says and despite what the cup says. And so, how is the city of Sacramento going to get any feeling behind them if just the very nature of the name, they're going out of their way to say, we're not here long? How are they going to get any momentum of emotion behind them? Granted, they got to win. That's one way to do it. But to not have that sense of fun and closeness, you know what? I know there were times in the Oakland Coliseum where it felt like the proverbial Oakland Mausoleum. But that doesn't take into account the ones who were there. Those 6,000 to 7,000 people who were there were in love with it. That was not the case of what I experienced today. And I can't imagine it happening. There were a lot of empty seats here today. A lot. Granted, it's a Tuesday. It's a Tuesday night. Okay? But it was a nice night. It's not too hot. I've been here in the summertime. Granted, it was a day game, but it gets really hot in Sacramento. On a nice night, on only the 5th game of the year, when the novelty should still be there, to have complete freedom of where to sit behind home plate is going to be kind of disturbing. What if this A's team sucks? They lost 90 some odd games last year, even though they had a terrific couple of months. They're off to a not great start. They're off to a horrible start, but they're not off to a great start by any stretch of the imagination. What if they suck? What if they suck and it gets really hot and you're going to look up and you're going to see this is a minor league ballpark and it's with expensive tickets. If you're going to go see a ball game, you might as well spend it on the Sacramento River Cats because at least they are represent the city of Sacramento. I just bit my lip. I'm not even going to edit that out. This is when the novelty should still be there. Call them Sacramento A's and see what happens. See if you get some people to say, let's go Sacktown. There were a couple of let's go Oakland chants. And isn't that telling that it wasn't let's go A's, it was let's go Oakland that was a big chant there. It was fun. I went to a baseball game. I saw major leaguers play baseball. Any night you could do that, that was good. And I've had worse feelings at a game. The game I went to at Montreal in the mid-90s, when it was the year after the strike, and there was such anger in Montreal that the greatest Expos team that was ever put together had the rug pulled out from them, and with the strike wiping out the playoffs, that Expos team was probably going to go to the World Series. And if they did go to the World Series, and if they won, it would have been 3 straight Canadian World Series, and the probably would have led to the building of a stadium in Montreal, and we'd still have the Expos. And so that next year, my father and I went to a game at Le Stade Olympique, and it was empty, and the crowd was indifferent, and there was anger about the Expos then. That was probably the worst Major League Baseball experience I've ever had. That's not what I experienced here today. This was fine, but it felt like an exhibition game. And I have a hard time thinking in 3 or 4 years if the novelty of this will... The novelty of this is already seems to be over. So they better put a good product on the field. And of course, there's the sense that by the time they have a good product on the field, they're going to be heading to Las Vegas. Maybe. Well, I can check this off my list. I've been to a game in Sacramento. And you know what? It was still pretty cool. I have issues with it, but it's still a night at the ballpark. And thanks for coming with me. And it's going to bring us to today's trivia question. The A's just beat the Padres. The Padres have had in their history 3 Hall of Fame closers. 3 Hall of Fame closers have worn the San Diego Padres uniform. So which closer got the save in the only World Series game the San Diego Padres have ever won? They've been around since 1969, and they've won 1 World Series game. Not 1 World Series, 1 World Series game. And they've had 3 Hall of Fame closers. So who got the save in the only World Series game the Padres have ever won? That's the trivia question. Put it right down here on YouTube. And follow us at Locked On MLB Pods on Twitter, or whatever they're calling it these days. And on Instagram, I'm your pal Sully. I'm at Sully Baseball Podcast on Instagram. But just follow me here on YouTube. Going to a game at Sutter Health Park, home of the Sacramento A's. This has been Locked On MLB. I'm your host, Paul Francis Sullivan. Please call me Sully.